Okay, so now this is the third time I've done this voiceover. If the next person that calls me on the phone, I'm going to go to their house and punch them in the face because it screws up my video. Anyway, here we go. Idiot blocks. Yeah, idiot blocks. This is one of the most inefficient ways of putting up hay. To me, there's no need for these to be made any longer. In my operation, I have to watch what I say because I don't really want to offend anybody that feels that this is the only way to make hay. But for me to make this hay this way, this is by far the most inefficient way to do it. There are more inefficient ways to do it, like if you didn't have a stack wagon or a kicker or a thrower on your baler, because then it would take 2 more people on that wagon. And there are still people out there that do this operation that way every day, and that's fine for them. But in order to be productive in this business and actually make some money, you have to do it as efficiently as possible. I bought this baler in 2000. I was 28 years old. It was to replace an old New Holland 315 that should have been replaced the day after it was new, because that thing was the biggest piece of junk ever devised by New Holland. Anything from busted throwers to split plungers and, oh my God, you name it, it was just a nightmare. Anyway, at least we didn't have any luck with it. And even these little balers, we had a hay dog spring break, and the hay dog spring broke, and it broke another hay dog down at the bottom, which in turn took out my needles at the end of this day. It got very expensive very quick. So now not only do I need new hay dog springs, and I'm going to replace the hay dogs also, all of them, and pins. There's 5 of them up there. 3 on the bottom, 2 on the top. I also have to replace 2 needles. Now, I was fortunate enough that it did not destroy the knotters, which is usually what happens when you break needles. I've had it happen. You usually break a knotter frame. Friend of mine, I called him up, and he called me, and I talked to him about it. He says, "Oh, it's the Tucker finger spring." So I went and I looked at the Tucker finger spring, and the Tucker finger spring is fine. I've never had a Tucker finger spring. I've had them break, but I've never had them destroy needles. But it was just the hay dogs were broke, and it put stress on both needles and destroyed it. It was in this field right here where Dad's raking. It's pretty heavy stuff. So I just need to explain a little more about these things. When we had cows and horses, well, we do have horses, but we've since converted the horses over to big bales. Put them in the barn, take them out with a loader, take them out to the hay rack, put them in the thing, the freaking horses eat them, the end of story. The cows we sold. I will be having beef cows again at some point, probably this coming spring. I would like to pick up at least a dozen and go from there, raise them up until, say, November, December, when things start getting shitty out, and then sell them, see what I can come up with that way. Because I do kind of miss animals on the farm, but I don't miss animals so much that I would want to go into raising animals full time. I do like some time off, and having animals is like a bunch of kindergartners anyway. So, but it is money, and I need money to live. But anyways, I'm hooking this thing up. We did about 2,000 bales, not quite 2,000 bales, with this little baler, and we stacked it up in a barn just like this. You got Teresa there, and my brother-in-law, who has, for some reason, I don't even know what the hell we were doing with that elevator. We had a problem, I guess. And I think he hurt his leg because he's rubbing his leg there. But anyways, we threw all these bales that are all stacked up in the building, and things went fairly well, I would say. And it's just the way it is. But everything that I did in these little bales, I could have very easily done inside of 2 hours baling time, and probably gathered them up, brought them home, put them in the barn with the tractor inside of 3 hours. It took us 2 days to do these bales. And the reason we didn't do more in 2 days, which I'm sure there's some guys saying, "Oh, well, that's nothing. Why did it take you so long to do close to 2,000 bales?" Well, it took us close to 2 days to do 2,000 bales because it's been so ungodly wet. We weren't able to start baling until 2 in the afternoon. 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on both days. And the dew sets on very fast this time of year, which gums things up. And, you know, we don't want to put away wet hay. My motto has always been, I make good hay by accident, and this is very, very, very good hay. You know, but the other sad part of it is all my effort, I might as well just made mulch hay out of it, saved myself a day and 3/4 time, and sold it to the mushroom barn, and probably would have made more money. Because these things are not worth what they were worth a couple of years ago. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was a good time with my family, you know, and at least my sister's side anyway, because Timothy was bailing. My two kids, they didn't want nothing to do with it. Timothy was bailing, so, you know, he was doing his job. But Haley and Joe, they're just with their mom right now, so they don't, you know, Joe was here yesterday, but he wasn't here for the hard labor, which he needs some hard labor. Anyway, yeah, with that being said, it was fun. I mean, I will say that it was fun. It always brings a family together to throw these idiot blocks around. So I guess they're not that bad, you know. They only get real bad in, say, January, February, March, when you're trying to get them out of the barn and nobody's around to help you get them out. So, but if you make these things, you know, kudos to you. If you're making money at it, you know, you're doing something great. But for me, I just find it to be too time consuming for a 3-man operation, and that's about it. A 4-man operation. We got Carl, myself, my father, who is part-time, and my son Timothy, and Teresa, who does a wonderful job, but she doesn't do you know, she doesn't do every day. She's not that fluent with tractors to keep it going. You know, I can't say, hey, Teresa, go do this, this, and this. It takes me time to get her primed and going. The same thing with Joseph and Peyton and Grant. So it's tough. It's tough this year, especially with this rain. And now we got this idiot hurricane that just ground Texas up and spit them out. And that's supposed to come up through the center of the United States. And God bless them poor bastards down there. I couldn't imagine 40 inches of rain. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. And yeah, if you want to stop on by Patreon, my first video is up there, and yeah, enjoy it. Thank you again.